Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to look at another Helix amp model, the Solo Lead OD, which is a model of the Soldano SLO-100. So I've recently been getting back into the band Extreme and the playing of their guitarist Nuno Bettencourt, one of my favourites of all time. And controversially, my favourite album is probably Three Sides to Every Story. It kind of changes depending on my mood, but I think generally that's probably my favourite if I was to be completely honest. And apparently on that album he uses a Soldano. I think the SLO-100 he uses on that album, I think, if I remember correctly. But the Helix has the Soldano model on there, so I thought I'd see if I can try and, to some extent, recreate the tone. And just quickly, if you enjoy this content, please give this video a thumbs up. And I would really appreciate if you fancy subscribing, because I'm trying to reach my first 1,000 subscribers, my first milestone. And obviously, if you subscribe, it will help me to reach that goal as soon as I can. Anyway, let's get back to the video. Alright, so if you look at my Helix here, I've titled it Nuno Three Sides. This is going to be my Three Sides to Every Story Soldano preset, I guess you could call it. I've done my usual thing of having some snapshots along the bottom row here and got some pedals along the top here, which I'll explain in a moment. So my snapshots are, I've got a slightly pushed sound. I didn't really go for a clean sound. I'm not sure if he uses clean that much, really, except for maybe on a couple of tracks. So it's just a kind of lower gain sound. If I did want clean, there is another Soldano channel on there. There's a clean version. I've also got a rhythm channel, which will be kind of probably the main sound that he would use. This one is just for this demo today. Something I've been playing with. I've been learning this song, Am I Ever Gonna Change? And this is, I just put this here, I had a spare preset or a spare snapshot there. So I wanted to use it because Nuno's setup is actually quite straightforward and not particularly complicated. It's probably more complicated on here than it is in his real rig. And just for fun, you can probably tell what that is. The preset, the snapshot is called Bumblebee. And yes, it is a preset for Flight of the Wounded Bumblebee, which, yes, isn't on this album. It's on the Porno Graffiti album. But just for fun, it's there. So let's check some of these out. Here's my pushed sound. Yeah, so I've got a bit of reverb there. Actually, let me quickly show you what I've got here. So I've got the amp here is, as we said, Solo Lead OD. And I've also put a cab in. I've put in a cab, the 4x12 Greenback 25. In my head, he used greenbacks on 4x12 greenbacks on the recording of that album, but could be wrong. I could be misremembering, but that's what I've used. Seems to sound okay. And I've got my usual room reverb there, as I normally have. Here's without, just for fun. Here's with. Just adds a bit more of the room in there. It's very dry sound generally what he's got, so I don't want too much of that. And then I've got this effect here. It's basically delay. So this is going to make it, if you can read that, it says mono/stereo. So this will change it from a mono sound to a stereo sound. Let me show you what it sounds like first. Here's mono. So I could have used a double take, but this is what I used to do before the double take was released. The double take effect on the Helix, which basically makes it sound like you're double tracking your guitar part. So what I've done here is I've split the output into two, pan this one hard left and this one hard right, and this is just a delay at the end, all on the right hand side. I think it's maybe about 20 to 25 millisecond delay, full on. And it kind of gives that the effect of having two guitars. Mono. So it's the taste. It's only really good if you're in stereo, if you've got, like I'm on in-ear monitors at the moment, or if you're using maybe your speakers, your studio speakers at home. Otherwise, if you just got one amp, you're not really going to hear the difference. But it's there if I need it, and just for a bit of fun, really. But there's my pushed sound. Let's try a bit of this. So let's move on to the rhythm snapshot. This is going to be the main meat and potatoes here. It's slightly different to the push in the sense that there's more drive. The drive is set to 5 at the moment. On the push, it's set to 0.9. But it is a lead channel, so it is still pretty crunchy. And I've compensated for the volume difference by adjusting the channel volume. Alright, here's my rhythm sound. And that's really it, to be honest. There's not too much to talk about with Nuno's tones. It's basically the amp and maybe this rat pedal. I'm not sure if he used it on this album actually, but I kind of like how it tightens up the lower end, which I think is how he used it as well. One thing I've got here as well, I've also got the stereo thing. So actually here it is in mono. And I've got some other effects here that he's used on the album. So let's use some of those and see what happens. So this one here, this preset here, this snapshot here, Am I Ever, is from the song Am I Ever Gonna Change, which is the same as the rhythm channel, except I've added the flanger and this delay, which sounds like this. So let's demonstrate this Am I Ever Gonna Change snapshot. So it goes basically like this. If you know the album and if you know the song, you'll recognise this bit. So another song where there's a stereo effect that you can hear, which is double tracked as opposed to doing what we're doing here, is Peacemaker Die, one of my favourite songs on the album, if not my favourite. Check this out. So here's without the stereo. Here's with the stereo. something like that. Still haven't got the hang of that bit yet. If you can play it, let me know in the comments and I will give you much love. Right, and just for fun, I've added this Wounded Bumblebee snapshot at the end here. As I said, this song isn't on the album, He-Man Woman Hater, but I just thought I can play with that. So I've added this, I've got my delay there. Notice I've got the delay before the amp. I'm just using I think it's a vintage digital delay. What is it? Let's have a look at that. Yeah, vintage digital delay. And it seems to sound better before the amp. My thinking being that Nuno would have probably used a delay pedal, I'm guessing, when he recorded this and put it before an amp, which would have been driven. So I'm kind of copying that. I just tried it earlier on, because when I was making this, I had the delay after the amp, which is what you normally do. But here I put it before the amp, and it kind of makes everything pop out a bit more. It makes all the delays come out a bit more. When you listen to this part of the song, it sounds like he's playing everything. Doesn't sound like there's a delay effect, and it's fooled many people, including myself, over the years. So as long as you play it accurately enough. So I'll give it a go. All right, one last thing I'm going to mention here is, you probably won't see it, but this thing right at the beginning here, this is a pitch. I've just changed the pitch because Nuno and Extreme, they detune by a semitone. So my guitar is in standard E tuning, standard tuning in E, and I don't really want to detune this guitar because I use it for lots of things where it won't be useful to down tune it. So let me turn that on. So what this does, it detunes it for me. So let me go to, let's go to here. Let's go to the rhythm channel. Sounds like this. I'm going to switch on the pitch shift. So it's detuned it by a semitone for me, so I can do all of my, I can play along to Extreme songs and not have to detune my guitar. The only problem is if you can hear that your guitar acoustically, you are going to hear that kind of out of tuned conflict, shall we say. If you can't hear it, then great. Actually, here's what the out of tune conflict sounds like. Let me go into this channel here, to the push channel. I'm going to put my guitar strings up near the microphone so you can hear the acoustic guitar strings and the pitch shift. In fact, let's go with that first. So probably put me in a compromised position on camera, but you can hear them both there. It doesn't sound very good, but if you're loud enough, you're not going to hear your strings acoustically. So that is the last thing I have. If I need it, it's there. If I want to play along with some extreme stuff or something that's detuned down a semitone. But yeah, there we go. So that was my preset for the Line 6 Solo Lead OD, their model of the Soldano 100, Soldano SLO-100. I've kind of taken it upon myself to try and do a bit of Nuno Bettencourt type stuff. You can use it for other stuff as well. I'll probably use this in my function set list as well for some of the songs which require something heavier. So if you like that, please consider giving this a thumbs up and please consider subscribing so I can reach my first 1,000 subscribers. Also come and say hello on social media. I've got a Facebook page and I'm on Instagram as well, so feel free to come and say hello on there. And let me know if you like this video. Let me know if you like the explaining or do you prefer to just hear the sounds rather than any kind of talking. Let me know. I do find myself talking a lot sometimes and it gets these videos really long, so I need to try and cut back a bit. So let me know if I need to do that or if you like the explanations. But apart from that, I will see you in the next video, so take care.